When it comes on, I'll just. Well, good evening, everyone in South Wales, everyone in Wales, everyone around the world from the city that is still top of the league, even though they didn't play and give everyone else a chance to catch up with us. They couldn't. It's the mighty Bluebirds are back, and we're all really thrilled of it. So, it's positive times. We've had moans for a couple of years, but hopefully the next hour will be more of the same theme. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on over the last week. There's not been too much in the news. Obviously, I think most of us are all Wales fans. We'll touch on Wales. Let's find out what we were all doing at the weekend, because it's quite strange to have no football at all. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then just anything else that comes to mind. I'll introduce the three panelists in a moment. And I know couple will all be known to you, but I'll start in the bottom right, Mr. Nottingham himself, Robin Hood, Steve Thomas. Steve, you'll know, is a regular home and away. Has been, God, for how many years, Steve, you've been doing that?
Oh, goodness me. Oh,
you're still on the beat.
Since the early 80s.
Yeah, fantastic. And you're there most weeks, aren't you? You don't miss too many games over the season. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. So Steve is... we were talking just before we went on air how thrilled Steve and Mike are, who we'll introduce in a moment. They've seen 2 away wins this season, because that's all they saw last season. So, happy days are here again. A bit of top right, we got Mike Spear, better known to many City fans as Spedge, or Mr. Funbus, as he runs the Funbus to the away games. So very well known to a load of City fans. And also Mike is involved with the Supporters Trust, and I think we'll cover a little bit on that a bit later. And also involved with the Remembrance Garden, which I visited after the last home game. And what a tremendous facility that is for City fans as well. So thanks for all you're doing there, Mike. And evening to you.
Yeah, evening. Yeah.
And more importantly, Mike, like myself, is a fellow Barry boy as well. We're both the Barry Bados crew. So we got Nottingham Barry Bados. And in the bottom left, we got Mr. Rhys David of the Exeter contingent. How you doing, Rhys?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. So Rhys is very clued up on his tactics, his facts and figures, and I'm sure he'll bring out a couple during the show. But one to start with is that Mr. BBM, who is our new god, and we're all on our hands and knees to him every day. He is now the most successful Cardiff City manager to start the season ever, and the most successful Cardiff City manager to have a run like he's had from the start of his managership. Who would have thought that 2 months ago, when we were all on our knees of what was going on at the club, wouldn't you? They're not appointing a manager, they're not recruiting players, and then BBM was probably not the name at the front of everyone's mind. He was always in the frame, but I don't think there were too many going for him. But I'm glad we got him now, boys?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So what should we start with? So last week, as the show was on last week, it was just the closure of the transfer window, and it ended up with the signing of Kellyman from Chelsea. £19 million player that I'm not sure any of us have seen, and even less of us had heard of. So has anyone seen him play before, other than YouTube clips?
No, only as you say, no, just the YouTube clips, and everybody waxing lyrically about him. Yeah. Everybody's waxing lyrically about all three of our signings. Nobody had heard of Nathan Trott, I don't think, unless you have a connection, because they did announce at Wimbledon that he was a previous loanee at Wimbledon, which I wasn't aware of, because he started off at West Ham. But it is an absolute revelation. And what gets me most about the whole start of the season is how complimentary other teams' managers and other teams' players have been about us. Nahki Wells was waxing lyrically about Trott after Luton, and the comments made by first of all Ian Holloway after the League Cup game against Swindon, and then by cleverly the manager of Plymouth about how well we're setting up. The compliments absolutely flying in, and long may it last.
When was the last time anyone complimented Cardiff City in the way we play football? Not even as fans, we've been doing that for a few years, have we? So it is just amazing to see and amazing to experience again, isn't it? And I think that's the thing why we're all happy, buzzed, excited again, because it does feel like there's something special happening, even though we're only 1 month into the season. But you do feel like good times are here again, and football we can enjoy again. Would you say that, Mike?
Yeah. I mean, going to Sir Nathan Trott there, as Steve just said, I was quite surprised that he got in and got into the team straight away, because I thought Turner did a good job in that home game, and then at Port Vale, I thought, oh, what's going on here? With the ball at his feet, But no, after Luton Town, God, he's got a good set of hands on him. Yeah, he's quick as well, you know. So fair dues. Yeah, it was a bit dodgy at first, I thought, with Nathan Trott, but in BBM we trust, I suppose.
Got to be, hasn't it? Reece, we had 3 signings in the window, and loads of players left us, of course. Would you have liked to have seen any more players come? And is there any players who have left you would still like to be here?
That's a tricky one. I mean, I would have thought we could have moved 1 or 2 more out.
A lot of the players who've left us as
Reece, I think you're frozen, mate.
Yeah.
Go on, Mike. You were saying.
No, I'm just saying. I thought we might have moved 1 or 2 more out. I mean, it must have been the wages that we couldn't.
Yeah.
But I'm quite happy with what we got at the moment. And these 3 that have come in, that's the icing on the cake, I guess. Well, at the moment, it is. You know, we shouldn't count our chickens before they hatch.
Yeah.
But you can't fault him. You can't fault him. He's a different sort of football man that I've seen down our club for a long time. And at the moment, he's very exciting. I got to say, he's made some good decisions. You know, some good decisions.
Reece, if someone told you we were only going to sign 3 players in the window, and just one of them would have played for us so far, and we lose 15 players, and we would be playing 7 or 8 kids from the academy every week who have got very limited first team football experience, in some cases none at all until this season, would you have thought we would be top of the league into the 3rd round of the cup and pretty much dominating everyone we played other than Port Vale, which was very early days, and we've learned some lessons from that quickly, I think?
Yes, we have. Quite frankly, where we're at the moment is brilliant. It's a real surprise, I think, to a lot of people looking in, because on paper we shouldn't be doing that as well as we are. But it's fantastic that we are doing as well as we're doing. The fact that we're up pushing at the top end of the stage at this moment in time is great. But I would want to temper expectations and say it's a very long season ahead of us, and that we've got quite a small squad and quite a young squad, and that hopefully they're able to still keep their heads down and going through the difficult November, December, January time that always seems to trip people up.
Yeah, it's early days. And I think it was an interesting, this 2-week break, which I think a lot of us felt, well, we don't need this to come. But the first thing BBM said was, yeah, they do need it. We got players with knocks, as we know, and a couple we're going to miss for a little while. And he said, what I need to do with these players is give them sort of physical exercise, more exercise on the ball, isn't it? Strength and conditioning exercise. He knows it's a long season ahead. And I was just looking at the what we got this month now, because we'll have had no football for 14 days by the time we get to Saturday. And then we got 6 games in 18 days. And we had eight games in the first month of the season. So it is pretty relentless. And for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday. 2 of them are cup games, admittedly. But that's going to be, I think you're quite right, Steve. Would you agree that these players, they've got all the enthusiasm? We haven't been hit with too many, we haven't been tested that greatly in games, where we've been behind other than the first game of the season. We've pretty much bossed games, haven't we? So bigger tests are to come. The next 2 games may well produce that for us.
Most definitely. People did say Luton was going to be a big test. And we came through that when it was difficult. I mean, some of the trot saves in that game were absolutely out of this world. Yeah. I think you've got to be confident going into every game at the moment. Just to pick up on what Reece said there, absolutely spot on, Reece, about the fact that we have got a very small squad and injuries are likely to kick in. However, you look back at our fantastic 82-3 team. Didn't we only use about 14 or 15 players, and 3 of them were goalkeepers or something like that? So I think I'm very much looking forward to Stockport on Saturday, and just looking forward to everything. Not like it's a drudgery. It's a like last season. Some of the home games, particularly, were just truly awful. I mean, we won 9 games in the whole of last season, and as you said to Mike, 2 away games won all season, and we saw 2 away games in a week. One at Wimbledon and Luton. Happy day. Let's enjoy the good times while we can.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I've seen a player this season who I felt has let us down yet. And last season, we were struggling to think of too many players who would perform to expectation. Ironically, I think, even though we had a terrible season last season, the players who did best for us were these youngsters when they came in and had a chance, weren't they? It was the old experienced pros, many of who have now moved on from us. They were the ones who it did feel like they let us down. And they've just together with the manager, brought a new breath of fresh air to the club, haven't they? It's complete rushed, sweep of the brush, and how BBM has managed to achieve what he's achieved in less than 2 months in the job is beyond incredible.
Most definitely, Nigel. I'll also say that one of the reasons I understand why we were late getting people in is that he tore up the list of players they were talking about getting in and wanted to get in players that he wanted. Yes, we brought in 3 players, but from what we've seen, if the other 2 are half, 3/4 as good as Trott has been, we've got absolute winners again. None of us have heard of any of them, I don't think. But it's absolutely fantastic. A complete positivity alert tonight, I think.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what's been your highlights of the season so far?
I was just watching the youngsters. I mean, I thought they were good about 2 seasons ago, and I said last season if Bullet starts with the youngsters, he might have a chance, but he didn't. He went back to type, and we went down because of it. I think it's not just last season the youngsters proved themselves. I think it was the season before, and just to watch them, the way their confidence, their ball playing, it's really good. It is good. It's good to watch, and they seem to be a bit fitter. They move the ball quicker, and they know where each other are. There was none of that under Bullet or Rizza. It was all sort of what they call it, firefighting, if you like. Just firefighting to sort of survive. And now they're out there. I mean, having this sort of start might be really good. Might be just what the kids need.
Yeah, I think it looks like we lost Nigel at the moment, so that basically move on to. You Reece,
I'll do the dinner now.
What's been your highlight so far this season?
I think probably the biggest praise I'd have to give is the fact that defensively we've looked so solid so far. We've all talked about how Trott's been this fantastic addition to the side, but I feel that we've not really been able to see much of him at all so far, because there's only been a handful of saves he's had to actually make. The amount of times that he's just walked through a game with making only a couple of comfortable saves is terrific, and that's shown due to the dedication and the fight shown in the defence and in midfield. The amount of last-ditch tackles and blocks that being put on the line is Warnock-esque at certain times, and that's high praise indeed, because that side went on and did fantastically for us. So if they're able to keep up that defensive pressure, and yes, they are going to concede goals, but they're going to continue putting themselves in those places that hurt, put themselves on the line to try and keep that ball out for us, then it's going to be a brilliant season. I think that's definitely fine.
Thanks, Reece. Also, to go back to the point, welcome back, Nigel. Great to see you.
I was trying to read a comment, and I've only got my mobile. So if anyone can read these comments that pop up, please read them out, because I couldn't see it even with these glasses on.
I can't see them. So.
We got rid of a load of players, and I think a lot of people, why are we getting rid of this player? Why are we getting rid of that player? But I think, good comment there from Steve. When do you think we'll hit the magic 50 points? That is right. That's the first. Probably after about another 15 games.
Well, we could surpass last season's total before November, couldn't we?
Well, fingers crossed. I thought as well, we had to get rid of a lot of those players, because you have to remember we finished bottom of the championship. Yes, perhaps they didn't have the guidance they should have, first of all, with Bullet and then with Rizza, but we did finish bottom of the league. So I was completely against going down throughout. Say, let's go down. Some people said, let's have a reset. Actually, it looks like a good thing now, because I come out talking to our friend and colleague on here, Peter Bradbury, after one home game. He said, I think it was after the second home game, after Rotherham, he said we will win at least 20 of our 23 home games this season. I'd love to see that, frankly.
Yeah, and in fairness to Pete, I remember him on Twitter going, this team is definitely going to take us up. And I'm going, Pete, we haven't got the leadership, the know-how, the experience. That's what it felt like, didn't it? But boy, if those players grown up very quickly this season. And I think one of the big things for me is I didn't watch too much of the development football, but when I did see them, mainly on streams last season, they were playing the type of football that BBM has got them playing for the first team this season. And when they had the chance last season, under Rizza and the Bullet before that, it was nothing like the style of football they were being taught to play in development football. And I just feel that BBM he's obviously got this football philosophy. It coincided with what Darren Pearce and co were doing at the academy, and it's just streamlined beautifully. And I think it's just made it far more comfortable for them to adjust and play the way they do. They've all played together for a couple of seasons, really, haven't they, these boys? It's just that they're new to us in the first team.
Yeah. We got a comment from Jumpers for Goalposts. Again, fantastic monocle there. Early days, we have quality cover in every position. Osho, Kellerman and Robertson yet to play. We're playing stellar football, and I can't see anyone in this league living with. Champions by March. That would be good.
That would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
We've said this before with teams at the start of the season. Do you remember the Dave Jones team when they started the season with 9 wins and 2 draws? And I think the bookies were already wanting to pay out, weren't they? And in the end, they messed up altogether. So we've been here before. I'm excited, but I can't get overexcited.
I think we went about 8 points clear, didn't we, in the Dave Jones?
Yeah.
I think one stat that's quite important to mention is the fact that out of the top 10 League One starts of the season in the first 6 games, we're currently 9th, I believe, in that table. Only 2 went up. So it's a great start, but we have to keep it going.
It is very early days. And one of the things I was looking at on the weekend, although we've played 6 games so far, the 5 teams we've beaten, other than Luton, are all in the bottom 10 currently. So it's the next 2 weeks are bigger tests, aren't they? I would have thought Plymouth would have given us a good test. I know they hadn't started the season well. They got some good players there, and they showed that on the weekend, didn't they? They demolished Stockport, who ironically we play this Saturday. But we played Plymouth off the park, and we could have had 6 or 7 that day quite easily. So I'm not in fear of going to Stockport. I'm not in fear of Bradford coming down here in 2 weeks. A few weeks ago, I would have thought they're going to be big tests for us, but they look capable and confident, don't they? Things can go wrong, but I think, and we're going to have a blip at some point. That's natural in football. But I've really got trust in the manager and these players to deal with that when it comes along.
It's interesting, as you say, Nigel, looking back to the 82-3, where we got promoted in the end, of course, we started off losing at home to Wrexham.
Yeah.
Then we went to Millwall on a Sunday, beat them 4-0. We were still locked in the ground an hour after the kick-off for our own safety.
I remember that one. I was there.
Midweek after that, we lost 4-0 away to Orient. So that season we ended up going up. We started off with two defeats. But, it's like we've just got to keep it going.
Wasn't that Wrexham one? Wasn't that our only home defeat all season, if I remember rightly? I don't think we lost at home after that. Yeah. Or it might have been to Brighton in a match of the day game, if I remember.
No, that was 76 that night.
That's a different year, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking that 82-83, we did only lose to Wrexham at home that season. But that was one of the things when we talked to other football fans in the summer, they're all saying Ninian Park, coming down the city, is going to be their Wembley, isn't it? It's the best stadium in League One. And for away fans, particularly some of the smaller clubs and their players, they'll want to shine here. And I thought, it's going to be a tough test. We're going to have a half-empty stadium. Atmosphere is going to be dead. And these teams are going to be inspired when they come here. But it's been the exact opposite, because so far we're hitting the 20,000 crowds. And I didn't see us getting those sort of attendances a few months ago. And I didn't see us selling 14,000 season tickets, whatever it is. But it's just a huge response, hasn't it? Yeah, it's just been a huge response, and it's great to see. And I did mention on the show last week, I would love to see the club try and cash in on this, open a new season ticket deal, do more offers for families. There's a buzz about the club again, and they need to be open to really trying to cash in and make, really create something special down there that we can keep this thing, because there's a buzz for the first time with Cardiff for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, BBN doesn't get manager of the month now.
Is it a manager of the month for August? I don't know if there is. He would, wouldn't he? You would get it.
But again, Stevenage made a good start as well. Stevenage have won 5 and lost 1, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they'll be surprised at their start.
They've been fantastic, and Alex Revel as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Terrible striker for us, wasn't he? So looking ahead, I mean, before we'll come on to Wales in a few minutes, but just looking ahead with Cardiff a bit, we've already spoken. We got a trip to Stockport on Saturday. I know Mike and Steve, you're both going up there.
Yes,
we sold out our tickets ages ago. Have you been to Stockport before?
Yes, I've never seen us win there, so I'm hoping it'd be the first time.
I think I saw us lose. I think I saw us lose 4-1 on opening day.
We had off that game because what I'm thinking of. Jason Terry and Stan got sent off that day.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I can remember that when he wasn't a terrible start to the season. But yeah, so that's going to be a big test, isn't it? Because Stockport have looked a decent team, and I thought they were going to go up last season, but they just fell at the last hurdle, didn't they? But he seemed to be doing a good job there, Challoner. They're very good attacking, and then at the weekend they looked so vulnerable at the back. And I think, well, if they like that, anything like that on this weekend, good news for us. We can cash in. But how are you feeling optimistic about this game?
Yeah, so you got to feel optimistic about everything at the moment, I think. So until we get knocked off his perch, I'm going there with confidence on Saturday.
Same with you, Mike. You sold out the bus ages ago, didn't you?
Sorry?
You sold out the bus for it ages ago.
Over a month ago. Yeah, they're all full up. Wigan, Bolton, Barnsley, if we play Barnsley, but and even further down the line, the Northampton, Stevenage and Lincoln, they're near full, So
fantastic. Yeah. And some of these are midweek, aren't they? Stevenage is a Tuesday night, isn't it?
Tuesday night. It's a new ground. It's a new ground, you see.
Tuesday night in December. Stevenage away, got to be done.
Yeah, that's my birthday. I don't think the missus is going to let me go, but you never know.
Good luck with that, Nigel.
And then obviously we got Bradford coming up after that. So in terms of players and personnel, we're hoping that Turnbull will be back this weekend, but are you going to change? Would you want to change too much? Osho, we've obviously got available now. Is he going to have to spend his time just waiting in the wings for the time being?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. You don't want to change a winning side, do you?
No.
You want to have the luxury to do it. Yeah.
Sorry, mate. You wonder how well, how fit the two new outfield players that are coming are. Have they been playing? They may need to get up to speed a bit. I think Osho's got more chance getting in the side at the moment, but again, Kellerman's going to be very exciting. When I saw the interview with him, he says he likes to play number 10, but obviously Ruben's got that stitched up at the moment. He's more likely to start off on the left, I think. But then on the left, we've had quite a revelation with our two-goal former QPR player.
Yeah, well, that's an amazing transformation, because he was one player, and I was almost writing off a month ago, but he's suddenly found something, hasn't he? And it's great to see, because he's a huge talent. We know what he can do on the ball, but he just hasn't been consistent or produced it often enough for us, isn't it? So what are you thinking of him, Reece? Mr. Willock, please see what you've seen recently.
I mean, I'm pleased with what I've seen. Definitely, he definitely looks like he's come back into form. Like he's realised that he wants to play for us again, which is nice. Because at times last season there were question marks on whether or not he even wanted to be here. I was just going to say, going back to your other point about whether or not we should change a winning team, there has to be question marks on whether or not the flight travel would affect some of the Welsh boys who've gone away. People like Lawler, who have now just done something like, a 20-hour flight over across to Kazakhstan and back. Whether or not that might affect decisions going forward. Osho's been given a few weeks to get up to form. Or fitness. I wouldn't be shocked to see him get thrown into us on Saturday, personally.
Yeah, I know that is one of the things, and it was one of the debates with Ruben Colwell, wasn't it, where he was eventually called up and wasn't available because he had a slight knock, nothing to keep him out this weekend. But you're thinking someone like Colwell, 6'4", going on that flight for 20 minutes and probably not going to get any minutes in Kazakhstan, has probably been a bit of a blessing that he didn't go.
Absolutely, keep him wrapped up. Yeah, for the City.
Yeah. Exactly. And then obviously we got this game tomorrow with Wales. We'll come on to Wales in a few minutes, but are we hoping that we see some of these Cardiff boys play tomorrow who weren't involved? So we got Jules in there, Root, Capaccio. Do we want them playing tomorrow, or do we think send them back to us and stick some other players out?
I think it'd be good to see him play. I'm hoping, I know it's a bit selfish, but I'm hoping Dylan Lawler doesn't play tomorrow. Yeah. I'm hoping that he gives, the others a run out, which I think he will do, and keep Dylan fresh for Saturday, because City's important as well,
What an incredible story that is for Dylan Lawler, isn't it? That only 9 games, and then he's called up by Wales. He's man of the match, and he keeps better than that. He keeps the Swansea City captain out the team as well in doing it as well. So it's just absolutely stunning. But the thing that always amazed me, I don't know what you think, Steve, was that why did they take so long to sort out his contract? I do know that he had offers to go and play at some quite decent clubs in Europe, in Spain, in Scandinavia. There were other clubs who made offers to him. We could have, if he accepted to go to any of them, there was nothing the club could have done, and they would have had about 200 to 300k compensation, maybe 400k.
Yeah, we've got to be pleased he signed that contract. But a lot of us, of course, went to Aston Villa for the cup game last season. Where he turned in an excellent game against Premiership quality players, yet never played again last season. And he's come season. He's he may have been lucky not to get sent off against Peterborough in the first game. But apart from that, he's not put a foot wrong. And I'd agree with Mike that it's a good thing, I think, if he doesn't play tomorrow. And I would like to see a number of our other players get at least part of the game as a run out. Okay, there's no such thing as a friendly, Craig Bellamy said. However, it is a friendly, and it's a good idea, I think, to get some experience under the belt. And it's only 40 miles down the road at that other stadium. So,
yeah. Just going on to what Steve said there about Aston Villa, he did have a very good game. And I looked it up the other day, and I think he had one substitute appearance after that, and only in the match day squad on 2 occasions. Yeah, it's like really, really strange how they just didn't give him more time last season. Yeah,
well, I think we saw last season that managers were loyal to the wrong players, weren't they? They were picking players because of their past records. I mean, El Ghazi was a classic, wasn't he? He would always regularly picked and never really produced anything. But it was like these were the guys who were keeping these boys out of the team last season. We did see, the centre backs both lost form, didn't they, on the running last season, and still Lawler wasn't a consideration then. So you do wonder if they give some of these players more chance last season, could we have still been in the Championship? But having said that, no one wanted it at the time. But it's probably the best thing that could have happened to us now, isn't it?
Well, now we're sitting on top of the league, yes, but it's an odd win. I mean, what do you put that down to? I put it down to the fact that nobody manages the manager down there, do they? And I don't.
No, and I think that is the good thing with this guy, because although he is obviously communicating with the board, he's pretty much his own man, isn't he? He knows what he wants. He does want a certain level of backing, but he's being left to run it his way, I feel. I don't think he's being interfered with in the same way that maybe Rizza was. And, he's got the full respect of all the players, hasn't he? And because they're playing they're enjoying playing their football. And I'm sure that's half the battle. You could tell those players just weren't enjoying it at all last season. They all wanted out, didn't they? They were, you had players just moaning on socials, all sorts of things going on. But this season, there's an actual buzz back. And I think it's because we've got players who've known each other for a number of years. They've all grown up together. It just makes a huge difference. Do you see it that way, Reese?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I mean, one of the things that you always talk about with international football, for instance, remembering back to that Welsh side of 2016, the reason why they were so good is because they grew up playing with each other for years, playing those hundreds of games at youth team level. So the fact that he's able to have, or Cardiff are able to use that sort of thing and see that sort of success with a similar sort of style is not a surprise. The fact that Colwell's been playing with his brother, Colwell, for arguably the entirety of his life will obviously mean that he's able to put together and put forward a number of fantastic performances and kind of be able to work off each other brilliantly, as you saw in one of the last goals in the EFL Cup match that we just played. But no, it's not a shock to me, really, that it's working well. It's great.
Yeah, long may it continue. And Steve, I'm going to touch on Wales in a minute, but it's probably worth remembering today is the birthdays, talking to Cardiff and Wales, of Peter Whittingham and Gary Speed, who were both legends for club and country. So do you just want to touch on a few memories of them?
I do, but before I do that, I just need you can't read the comments. Yeah. I just read the comment that came along the bottom now.
Oh, thank you.
From Emma, who said that Jack the Bluebird's off to bed in 5, but wants to say good night, Grandad.
Good night, Jack. He's the only Jack I'll ever love. I'll tell you that for nothing. He came down his first game the other week with me down the Plymouth game. He thinks it's like that all the time down here now. But I said, "What did you like most about that day?" He said, "Going to the pub, Grandad." I thought, "That's my boy. He's got it."
Actually,
good night, Jack.
My son dropped me in at the first game I took him to, because he went home and told his mum we went to the drink shop before the game.
He likes to visit the Wetherspoons, Jack does, but he likes to visit to any bar with his dad. But give him that over Fun Factory.
Go back to memories. So many fantastic memories about Peter Whittingham. My favourite one would be the League Cup final, 118th minute, when he put 2 corners right under the bar. Then the first one got cleared, and of course the second one again was right under the bar, and he put it in. The free kick at Leicester in the playoff game, is hat trick against he said a hat trick against Wolves. The goal he scored against I think it was Barnsley at home when when he juggled it and put it in the top corner. And the main goal again, people forget about it a lot, is when we played Sheffield United away, and we had this amazing passing move with Ross
in the 5-3.
Yeah, Ross McCormack, Chopra, and then Bothroyd, who played the ball across, and the linesman on the far side put his flag under his arm and clapped.
Yeah, that was incredible that day. Well, it's quite funny. There's 3 moments in football I particularly remember. When that Peter Whittingham goal was scored against Leicester, I was level with him, about 20 foot away, probably right at the front of the stand. When Nigel Rees crossed the ball for Brian Clark, I was pretty much the same distance away from him for the goal against Real Madrid. And when Chris Gunter put the ball over for Sam Vokes, I was about the same distance away from him. So those 3 goals will always live with me because I was there when the those shots or crosses went in. But he was outstanding, wasn't he? And more than that, I think with Peter Whittingham, incredible footballer, probably the best footballer we'll ever see for Cardiff City in our lifetimes. But just a genuine nice guy as well, a bit like Sol Bamba. He would talk to anyone. Mike, you probably saw him when he used to live around Barry. He used to live over the Nap, and he was quite often down here. And unfortunately, the accident that took his life happened in a local pub to us. But I would see him out and about, and used to live in Penarth over by the seafront when Bellamy played for us as well. But he would always stop and have a little chat with you. There was nothing aloof about him at all. He didn't particularly want to talk about football all the time. He was just a very nice, decent guy.
Yeah. He was quite quiet, really.
My nephews
used to see him a bit in Penarth because I think he lived on where Penarth Bars. He lived on one side.
Yeah, he lived in them. Yeah, that's right.
And they used to see him at the town with his dog, and he always said hello. Yeah, Craig Bellamy was a bit different, but Whittingham used to say hello. And you're talking about a memory of him. I wasn't at the game. I was away at sea at the time, but the goal he scored at Middlesbrough wasn't too shabby either.
Oh,
you look back, what skill that was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That YouTube clip where they show it's about 6 or 7 minutes of the goals he scored for Cardiff, isn't it? It's something that just crops up on my timeline every few months, and I never get bored of watching it when I see it. It's just outstanding, the catalogue of goals and the memories he's left with us. That a bit like Sol, where we paid tribute to him the last home game. They're just people you'll never forget for the football they played, but also the people they were.
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry, Nigel. On Sol.
Nigel.
Oh yeah, go on, Sol.
Yeah, the first game of Warnock in charge with Bristol City 2-1, and neither of the goals scorers are with us anymore. Peter Whittingham scored the first goal and Sol scored the second one.
It's just terrible, isn't it? Players that we saw in our recent, Chris Barker being another. Cardiff have had more tragedies, it feels, than any other club. I'm always amazed that there's never been one of those TV specials on Cardiff, because I think we're the biggest soap opera of the lot. But moving on to Wales, then we're all Wales fans as well. We saw the game. I mean, I've enjoyed my football this season, but that Wales game last Thursday, Friday night, God, that was a tough watch, wasn't it? That second half especially. And to be honest, I thought we got out a bit lucky there. But they won. And now last night we saw that Belgium won 6-0. Kazakhstan won 5-0. And we've suddenly gone from group leaders to third in the group.
Yeah.
Getting that top spot looks a bit difficult now, would you say? They've got to beat Belgium, but even if they do, they may well be behind on goal difference now, the way it's looking.
So what the stats said ahead of before we faced Belgium, where we lost 4-3 to them, the stats said that if Wales were to win that match, we were kind of 54% likely to actually go on and win the group. But if Belgium won it, they were 94% likely to win the group. And unfortunately, we ended up losing the game. So I think in my head that for us to go on and win the group, it's out of our hands, really. We'd have to hope Belgium starts dropping points left, right and centre, and I personally don't see it. But we can definitely make second our own. And it's important that we do, because the way that seeding works in terms of the Nations League, I believe that makes it quite important if we come second above North Macedonia. And as a result, we need to definitely make sure we get the win against them over in November time, I think.
I think more than that, as I understand it, group winners obviously qualify. If Wales finish second, they get a home playoff. If they finish third, they get an away playoff. They're in the playoffs, whatever happens, I think. That'll be the worst outcome. But finishing second or third determines whether they got a home or an away semi-final, I believe it is. So yeah, there's a lot of football to be played, but that Belgium game next month is crucial, isn't it? And for me, I don't know what you feel about it. I don't understand why we're playing England in a friendly 3 days before. Is it 3 or 4 nights before Belgium? I just don't get that at all. I can't see how that helps them prepare for the Belgium game. Does anyone else feel different about that?
No, I totally agree with you. It's just it's an odd one. But obviously, we trust in Craig, don't we? So,
yeah,
don't know what he's got up his sleeve,
He's doing a great job, isn't he? It's, like I said, it was a difficult watch the other night, and thanks to Mr. Lawler and a few other players, we did get away with that one. But they're definitely going to have to play better in these next couple of games. Liechtenstein at home that's 3 points a given, but they've got to play a lot better, haven't they, against North Macedonia and Belgium in those 2 other games that will determine our fate.
On the subject of international football, Andrew Watts just said Nakahawa has just scored with Louis Giles' assist.
Wonderful.
Okay, yeah.
Ian Ashford's playing in that game as well tonight, isn't he? So,
is that the under-19s, is it?
Under 21. So they've gone up. They've stepped up to play for the 21s, which is even more incredible, really. But it's just a huge success story, isn't it? And I know it's been said by other people, but you've got to pay tribute to what Gavin Chesterfield and Darren Persinco have been doing at the academy to bring through these players. Yeah. I know in certain quarters they've come and for reasons I don't understand, they've been criticised. For me, development football is not about results; it's developing players, isn't it? So when they get into the first team, and the job that they've done has been outstanding, and we're seeing the rewards this season now.
Exactly. You look at the amount of players. That was what Tom Cleverley, the Plymouth manager, was saying about the amount of homegrown players, academy players that have come through into our first team at the moment. It's fantastic. But go back to your original point, Nigel, to pick up on what Reece said as well. I'm concerned about Wales. I think top spot's beyond us. But if you look at yes, fantastic to win in Kazakhstan, but you only have to look at how Kazakhstan were then basically trounced in the next game. Yeah. And so you got I think it's very important we get something out of the Belgium game, and I agree entirely with what you and Micah said about it being so strange you got the friendly against England just before, but we are where we are. But what concerns you most is the game against North Macedonia. We have to win that game.
Yeah, and that won't be easy. That was a tough one out there, wasn't it? But although consider a late equaliser there, that could be very costly in the final running. But it has put pressure on them in the next couple of games. And I guess we just got to hope that the players who've been missing last week are going to be back with us for those final couple of games, because it's critical. We have some of those boys who haven't been around. They make the difference, don't they?
Again, I think Craig Bellamy's probably the second best manager in Welsh football at the moment, behind BBL.
Yeah. Good point. So, Mike, obviously, I mentioned you're involved with the travel club and also the trust. So, what's going on in the world with the trust and the travel club, and how the fans are seeing it? Any, what sort of feedback and issues are you seeing currently?
Well, I mean, everyone's always happy on the fun bus on the way home, whether we win or lose. But win
or lose, we're on the booze. Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of good going on there. Yeah, the trust is a bit different. We've had a bit of a scare. Well, not a scare. We've had a big, massive influx, I think, of a high intake of membership recently. And a few months ago, I had a few phone calls from people saying about that there's some sort of a sinister thing going on behind the scenes. We've had 55 new members in the last month. You know what I mean? Which is a lot, And me being vice chair, I have visibility on who's joining. And there's definitely connections there of persons that have been very critical of the trust and giving disinformation about the trust in the last, 6 months or so. So it's a little bit of a worry, I suppose. But then again, we are open to new members.
Yeah.
And the more the better, the more the merrier. But there seems to be something sinister going on there.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the more people involved in the trust and the supporters groups, the better, because it makes us stronger, isn't it? And I think what we've seen the last season or two is, for many years, really, we've been a fractured support, haven't we? And a fractured support. There hasn't been for whatever reason, different personalities, different politics.
Yeah.
People feeling different about different past sort of owners of the club and things like that. They've all caused huge splits in the fan base. And the good thing this season, I just feel it is coming together again. So, I would just like to see it continue that way. The last thing we need are, supporter wars or different splinter groups and all that sort of thing. But, good times are here, and let's make the most of them. But I do think, for me, it's important that the trust is strong, and the more people involved in the trust, the better, because I know people want to protest about Tan, and, a lot of us would like to see Mr. Tan move on, but I don't think protests make any difference. You know what? He don't care if you protest or not. It doesn't get back to him. But where supporters groups are strong is that you've got dialogue and connections, and whether you get the right feedback from the club or not, it's the only route into speaking to the people at the club, isn't it, at the moment? And that's why I think these groups are really important, and it's great to have people like yourself, Keith, and Vince, and all those people who can act on our behalf with the club, because as well as the team are doing, it's always the challenge with the ownership of this club, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And we think we played it right all the way along. When there's times we need to jump up and down and ask but it's a bit concerning, this amount of membership uptake. I'm concerned about it anyway. But it's good to have people to join, but they got to play by the rules that way.
Yeah. So for any Cardiff City supporter interested in joining the trust, what's the best way to go about it?
You can just
finding out about all the good work that you're doing, because I know all the good work you're doing, but how does that get out to the?
It's not just challenging the club every time something goes wrong.
No.
And we also get give the club the kudos when it goes right.
Yeah.
There's the Memorial Garden, which the trust was the pioneers of, and now us at the Veterans Hub we look after. It's thriving, absolutely thriving. Since we've been keeping a log, we've had about 34 requests for procs since last April.
Wow.
We do food bank collections. We do 2 or 3 a season. We donate to charity. We're going to have some. We might have a do before Christmas. Our AGMs, where we get Rob and you went to the last one, Rob and Jason Petty to come down. Yeah, it's all good stuff. We work a lot. We work hard behind the scenes. I mean, I devote a lot of my time as vice chair. Keith's so switched on with the FSA aspects, the football governance bill. We're going to start putting a lot of stuff out about that, because that's become an act, as you know, an act of Parliament. The football governance bill has been passed. There's a lot goes on behind the scenes. It's a hell of a lot. So it'd be good. Keep coming, keep join the trust.
Good to hear.
And we have good dialogue with the other supporters groups as well, like the sports club. And, of course, So.
And that was one of the good things I saw over the summer, is where there were concerns about we weren't getting the communication. They put it, it made the club put out a statement early summer, didn't it? Because they weren't communicating with us at all. And then they could be challenged because they didn't follow up on that statement. We promised we're going to keep you updated. They didn't. And I thought one of the great things was how all the supporters group combined and got together. Because they all do different aspects of supporter service, don't they? You've got Vincent, the supporters club, who will do a lot of the family travel arrangements. Obviously, you look after another element of fans. The FAB is this new fans advisory board. They're able to have direct questioning into the directors, and it's important we've got that dialogue. And I just wish the club sometimes would be more open in their communication and in the ability for fans to access them. But if that's all it is at the moment, then it's best that the fan groups are all together on this one.
Absolutely. There's also the fans parliament. I think they for 100 members. They meet twice a year. So the club goes over and beyond with their sort of meetings that they have with fans, I guess. But sometimes there is a bit of concern, or if there's any sort of worry, is that they don't communicate enough, I guess. But they promised at the last meeting they're going to put that right. But of course, whilst we're winning, top of the league, and whatever strategy they did change or reviewed, or we don't know what it is, but it seems to be working.
A long way to continue. I think they've, I think they stumbled on it by accident rather than design, but it's good on it. And sometimes that's happened in our history, hasn't it? Like the Neil Warnock thing a few years ago, we were going nowhere. We were getting relegated then. And then Warnock came in and transformed the club in the way he did and give us that short burst of extra life again. But, again, that was desperation. They turned to Warnock, wasn't it? It wasn't for any other reason, but again,
he carried the cord, didn't he, that season?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it was quite interesting. The quotes, Steve, I don't know if you saw the quotes from BBM on the weekend saying he didn't realise he knew Cardiff City were a big club, but he hadn't appreciated just how big a club we are until he came here, which doesn't surprise us. We know we're a big club and we should be, we should be punching more above our weight than we are. But it's we've just been held back by poor decisions, poor governance, poor running the club for a very long time, and not being tuned in and run the same way as other clubs are. And we can go back to some of these things we talked about with Peter Whittingham when we played the likes of Crystal Palace and Bournemouth and teams like that. We're bigger than those clubs. We know that.
Yeah.
But we're way behind them at the moment, and it's hopefully we can start tuning in a little bit to that again. But there's a lot of catching up to do, isn't there?
Definitely, Nigel, most definitely. I think what a lot of it is, living outside of South Wales for many years, people don't appreciate how big Cardiff City are, and BBM's response to that is no surprise at all, because it's just not. You don't get the same sort of coverage outside of South Wales as you do in South Wales for obvious reasons. I think, it also I think I'm drawing a lot of parallels with Nottingham Forest here, because Nottingham Forest went through a load of managers, ending up with Cooper and his assistant, whose name I'm not going to mention, and that he then got them up to the Premier League. And then they moved on with Nuno now. But so that they changed managers. I think they're the one team who changed managers more often than us. Remember when I think we played up there and we beat, we always beat them at the City Ground. But one of the games we won there was just before Chris Hughton went. And he thought Chris Hughton was half decent manager. We didn't get on very well with Forest, but we seem to have hit on a gem with BBM, and long may he last.
Has he got a 4-year contract? Is that right? Did he get a 4-year contract or a 3? I
think it was the 3, I believe.
Yeah, which is a bit of intent.
The players were getting 4, and he had a 3.
Yeah.
Tanner gave a 4-year contract, and he was one of the first things he did.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Bless him. Comes back from that,
Yeah, exactly. And just talking of that, I noticed just something in the news at the moment. Eli King as well, that he started up some mental well-being sort of YouTube channel, hasn't he? Which what a great thing for him to do. I mean, he's probably had the most devastating time in his career, because for whatever reason, he didn't seem to get games early season, and he was one of the players I did expect to see coming through, and he had to bide his time to get a chance, wasn't he? And he was going to be made captain in the last cup game. He did all the presses leading up to that game, and then don't even know what happened on the training ground. It sounds like he had some tackle or stepped on him, or something went wrong, isn't it, and done his ACL, and that's just devastating at a young age, as he's just about to break into the first team and get his chance, that it's been cruelly taken away from him. So
quite impressed at his performance at Notts County in the pre-season friendly, and I was sort of expecting him to side at the start of the season, but he wasn't, obviously. And I think it is a huge shame, and hopefully he'll be back soon. Along with Ollie Tanner, of course, I was kind of level with him when he went into the advertising hoardings, basically just stopping the ball going out for a goal kick and giving him a throw-in. Now, with hindsight, just give him the goal kick.
Exactly. Yeah. But
he seemed to have done it before he hit the boards, though. From where I was right in line with it. It seemed whatever he did to his ankle, he did before he hit the boards. Yeah, but it's a shame. But fortunately, we got a bit of cover there. We got Kean and we got Isaac Davis. So a bit fortunate there. It's not nice to. I wish Ollie can get back as soon as he can. But we have got a bit of cover there.
Yeah. Reece, question for you, because you're very good on the tactics. We're not. I would imagine one of the aspects that it doesn't concern us, because we're winning with scoring goals, but obviously we're not seeing enough of Salek this season. Callum Robinson has struggled a little bit, and we're playing this lone striker up front, and they do seem to struggle for service and support. The footballer up there we're playing is fantastic, but it does seem to be the detriment of the strikers getting chances to really cash in themselves. What do you think the club can do about that, or the team can do about that, to change it?
I think it's a difficult role, because if he's basing his system like he looks like he is on the kind of Pep Guardiola role, the strikers aren't necessarily involved in build-up that much. They're often involved in being in the box and taking a chance when it pops up to them. And you can see that in the stats that Salek has. And in fact, even in Robinson, they are getting chances here and there, but they're not getting enough touches. generally, to kind of keep themselves in the game and keep themselves switched on. So I think if you are going to look to try and bring them into the game a bit more, because to be fair, Salek has the second highest expected goals. So he's the second, or according to the stats. So he is getting the chances, and he is getting a couple of them as well. It's just about him trying to keep that concentration and keeping switched on. I think some of the crosses that we put in are reduced. I think you could definitely use them during the build-up play a little bit more if you wanted to. But while it's working as it is, I don't think there's much of a reason to try and twist with our kind of tactics.
Yeah. Is that how you see it as well, Steve?
Yes, most definitely. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's go. Now, Salek does look a bit of a frustrated figure on occasions. Yeah. However, he's doing a good job. Yes, he's only got the one goal, but I think his position in the team is kind of understated because he's contributing. And a few people have said to me, why don't we play two up front? No, again, it comes back to let's not change the system. If we have another player up front, we're going to lose somebody in midfield. Let's not tinker with it if it's not broken.
Yeah.
I would say as well is if you go back to the year we went up with Warnock, for instance, I believe we had one of the lower kind of top scorers in the league because our striker that year, Kenneth Zahor, he got some goals, but he wasn't kind of that 20-goal a season striker you'd expect from a newly side going up. Instead, I think it was Patterson scoring something like 12 or 13 that got the goals for us. So if we were able to kind of make sure goals come from all angles, which they look like they are currently with Colwell, with Tanner when he was kind of playing quite well, with Willock, and with Colwell again, then I don't see a reason why we need to bring the striker into it as much as other sides do.
Yeah. It's quite strange, I think we've all had to, as I mentioned last week, we've all had to re-educate ourselves in how we watch Cardiff City play, aren't we? Because we're not used to this 60 to 70% possession, two wingers hugging the touchline. They don't come, they are there to give them the space to open up the sort of play through the middle of the pitch when they, and they're recycling the ball. If they can't see the clear route to goal or clear space, back it comes, they switch sides, play diags, whatever. It's a whole new way of us watching football that we haven't seen in years. And we used to sort of lambast Swansea a little bit at times for it. But we are seeing an end product, aren't we now? Which maybe we were a little while ago. They were just noughts and ones. The last couple of home games, it's been a 3 and a 4. And we could have had a lot more. So, I think it's just looking, for me, I think they're only going to get better. And some of the things they need to work on, point you made, Reece, I think was about crossing. I do think sometimes they could put, more hard and low balls into the box. They're all these sort of dinked efforts, aren't they? Everything's floated over a little bit. So I think they just, and of course, Willock wasn't getting around the back of defenders, which he's now starting to do a little bit more. So we are seeing these, more positive sides emerging as it progresses. And I think it's only going to continue that way. I can't see why it would sort of stop, and hopefully that will create more opportunities for Salek and Robinson. But yeah, I as a City fan, you want to see a striker scoring goals, don't you? It's they're the guys who inspire us as much as anyone, and hopefully we'll start seeing that in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, I agreed, Nigel, entirely. I think if you look at those of you, if you get in the ground reasonably early, see the warm-ups, we're playing a lot of balls across with Salek going to one post and Cole will go into the other, or Cole will actually hanging out. So we are practicing that. Just that for some reason it doesn't seem to be happening, particularly in the in the games. I think the big thing about this season is how we've learned, particularly after the Port Vale game, and the doom mongers were certainly out on the message boards after that. After we put in them because we were bullied, and BBM said we're going to put it right, and he did put it right. Again, Luton was a very physical game, but then particularly Joel Colwell, absolute terrier in midfield. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think we are learning, and if we do have a setback, I think we will learn from it and we'll move forward.
One thing I would love to see is the sort of running stats of the players this season compared to last season. Because Ruben Colwell in particular, he seems to run a mini marathon every game, doesn't he? He does not stop closing down. He's backing up. We've even seen him winning headers this season and heading the ball, which I don't think I ever saw him head a ball until this season. So, there's things going on there that he's completely transformed in the players. Obviously, it's belief and confidence, but it's definitely something about their work rate and teamwork as well, isn't it? Everything's played in triangles. They hunt in packs. This is stuff we hadn't seen down at Cardiff for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's into. I think BBM instills a special diet on them as well, doesn't he? and they're pre-game planning. They're down there about an hour before they used to get down there, apparently, and they eat together and things like that. This is what I've been told, anyway.
They're not over the casino like us, Mike. Eh?
That's it, yeah, with their boots around their neck, just coming off the bandit, gonna get over there and get changed, But so there's a lot of good stuff going on the pitch, definitely. One thing I've got to say, we were talking about Dylan Lawler earlier and how good he was for Wales, especially. What I did notice at Luton, and this is a good thing for BBM, is that when Luton started to play the ball over the top a bit in the second half, Lawler looked a little bit uneasy with it, but BBM took him off. He said, "That's it, you've done your job." And he brought Chambers on, who sat back a bit more to get his head on the balls that were coming over. So this, I like that. Even though Lawler was very good in the first half, and as soon as he started to struggle with one aspect of the game, BBM got him off. It was good. Good.
And to be honest, I think that's one of the positive signs. That we say we got a small squad, but when you look at the players we got on the bench who can come off the bench each game to try and change games, it is quality that few League One teams have that we're able to introduce, and hopefully that will become more telling as the season progresses.
Yeah, agreed. Quick questions come in for you, Mike. Somebody wants to know where you got your shirt from.
That's Alan. Yeah, he comes on. He's part of the Fun Bus team, and he's part of the Memorial Garden squad as well from the veterans. He's just being funny, I think. Did he say something about the piano as well? Yeah, that's Alan. Yeah, he's having his 10 pence worth.
What's the piano?
It's just the thing that's the screen save thing. The background. It's all right. That's not my kitchen. Yeah.
Look at me. It's going dark. It's going dark in Barry behind me. Oh, summer's ended, haven't it? It's a shame.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got autumn and winter of football to look forward to. So good on us. So coming up just up to the end of
Reece, a question. Reece was mentioning it earlier. What do you think when we get into November and December, when the pitches get a little bit heavy?
Yeah.
How does that do younger players struggle more than older players, or is it? What's the stats on that?
I think the key thing to note about in that sort of period is when we're playing this high octane football, you can have higher rates of injuries, and you can see that in training as well, because the players are saying that training is equally as tiring or equally as full on as matches. So the fact that we're essentially what sounds like playing 2-3 matches a week, maybe 4 at times, that's taking out that's causing higher rates of injuries already. And we've got a higher injury rate than quite a lot of the league to begin with. We don't have the biggest squad. So the fact that November and December time, where we'll be playing Tuesday, Saturday, that's going to lead to more injuries. And that means that you're going to have to fill those gaps somehow. And whether it means that we're going to be playing players out of position, whether it means we're going to be playing players who are even younger out of the new kind of under-18 side who have been doing so well, will be another thing. But that'll be a bridge we have to cross when we come to it. Hopefully we survive without many injuries, but that's the kind of worry in my head about November, December time, is that higher rates of injuries. And you see it across the board, to be fair. But hopefully we get to January and we can strengthen and we can build from there.
That's a good point, because it's one of the things I was conscious of with someone like Dylan Lawler now, because in the development team, he probably wouldn't have played more than 20, 25 games last season. They don't play as often as the first team, but now he's looking at a 46-game season. There's 3 down to the Cup, and as we've in the Carabao Cup, and as we've already seen, he's going strong in that, isn't he? In the teams he puts out, you got the Virtu, which is another at least 3 games, the FA Cup to come. And now we've got him being selected for Wales, where he can play have 5 or 6 games for Wales before the season's over. All of a sudden, you're looking at him having a 60-game season potentially, and quite a few of the players. They're all going to be, if they stay fit, have 50 to 60 games, and that's got to tell over the season. And I think BBM is smart enough that he will rotate a bit as the season progresses.
Yeah.
I think one of the most interesting stats is in League One, you play so many games, it's horrifying. If you get deep in both cups, EFL and FA Cup, let's say you get playoffs because you've overstretched yourself, and you go deep in the Virtu, you play something like 70 to 80 games, which is, I believe Peterborough played was in the top 5 most games last year or the year before, and they played something like 74. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on, especially with a squad like ours. Maybe we do have to throw away a couple or two just to kind of ensure that we rotate.
Yeah, I suppose the good news is we are where we are for now. We've got the squad we need to get us to January, and then we can take a look at the whole thing again, isn't it? If he needs to bring in extras in January, then he's got the options, and I think it's quite sensible. You don't want to bring in a load of players, because we've seen our Cardiff City managers, haven't we? They bring in 7 or 8 players every window, and then you've got a load of misfits in the squad, players who can't get games. At the moment, it's all kept keen, isn't it? And everyone more or less is getting involved. There's a benefit of having a smaller squad, but yeah, it's got to be managed well through the season to maintain the standard of football we have and the possession, our position in the table as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I don't know if any of you know, with me especially, when I watch the beginning, before the game started, I watch the warm-ups, like Steve was saying, is the body language on some of the players, I see it with Wales. When I went to the World Cup with Wales, there was the bad body language from the players, They get the warm-ups, heads down. But this, and I saw it last season with the City, just going through the motions, basically. Yeah. But this lot are different. And, it's obviously down to BBM, but its coaching staff are working incredibly hard as well. We often talk amongst ourselves, and we say if we had a good coach like a Premier League Tottenham or Liverpool got hold of Ruben Cole, they'll turn him into something special. But they seem to be doing it now down here, And the danger is we it's all good to have, but we might lose some of these come the January if we carry on as the way we are. And sticking up for the club a bit here. In the past, when we had the 15 million offer for Zaha, he knocked it back because we were showing some ambition, and then got slated 2 months later when Zaha's goals dried up. And it was the goalkeeper. It was Neil. Neil
Etheridge. Neil Etheridge.
And we had a big offer for him, but we said no. Because we're not taking the money because we want to progress. Yeah. What do we do this season? If Dylan Lawler carries on like he is, and Ruben Cole and Joel even, and there's Ronan Capaccio, there's so many of them out there.
The bids will come in January, won't they?
How are the fans going to react, for instance, if we sell Ruben for 10, 15 million? Or, this is a challenge, and this is great, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the club to be in that position.
Yeah. Well, the good news is
the fires of resentment amongst the fans, you see.
Yeah.
Do you or don't like to bring some money into the club? Because this season, I think the financial fair play or sustainability rules are totally different. We can't spend more than 60% of our income on players' salaries, but we can spend what we want on transfer fees, and even the income aspect of it. So apparently we're on the right side of that at the moment, even with predicted salaries, which is very good because some clubs that come down struggle. Birmingham, they went and spent lots of money on players' transfers, but I don't know what their salaries were. But that's where we got to watch ourselves, I think. And we might be tempted to sell a player or two in January,
Yeah, I think they've just got to assess where they are at that time. But, that is the downside of being successful at this level and bringing through the talents that you are.
Yeah,
there's going to be clubs watching over them and go, they can do a job for us. So, but that's success, isn't it? And the good thing is we seem to have a production line behind them for the first time in years. That there are as we're seeing with the 21s tonight. I think they've gone further ahead from what I can understand, and City boys are shining again. So, it's all to the good. And at the moment, all we can do is enjoy the ride. And, just hope for more success like this, because these are enjoyable times. And, as we know, as long-time fans, they don't always come around. So you've got to enjoy these days when they're here, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I'm going to wrap it up because we're over the hour. So thanks very much, guys, for joining us. I know it's pretty short notice to ask you to come along tonight, but I really appreciate your time and your input. Hope you enjoyed it too, Steve. I know you're regular, and Reese, thank you. Mike, great to have you on board and talk a little bit about the trust and everything. And I'll catch up with you all soon anyway. But before we disappear, in time-honored tradition, predictions for Saturday. How do you think we're going to get on against Stockport, Mike?
I think keeping a clean sheet for me, that's important. I think we'll win, but and keeping another clean sheet would be great. Yeah, 1-0, 2-0 City, something like that.
1-0. Reese?
I'm going to go for a scrappy 1-0 win.
Nice, I'll take it. Steve?
I have got a mind of my own, but I'm going to agree with both Reese and Mike. Scrap, win, keep a clean sheet.
Yeah. I got a funny feeling we're due to concede a goal, but we'll win anyway. 3. I go 3-1. But if we get any sort, I'd take a point now. If we could walk away from Stockport with a point, that would be good enough for me. Keep it going, win the home games, get results away. We're all happy, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Good trip, actually.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Long ones this season, haven't we? God.
Yeah, that's the trouble. I think it's with second most miles travelled by any club in League One this year. I think it's about 3,000. No, it's more than it. Got to be way more than 3,000 miles. But yeah, it's ridiculous the amount of travelling they got to do this season. That's always the thing, isn't it? Down in the dungeon, the bottom divisions, we just know it's loads of northern trips. It just works out that way.
Yeah,
but thanks, guys, for tonight. Anyway, really appreciate your time and your input tonight. And thanks, everyone, for watching and listening in. And we'll be back same time next week. I think with Mr. Steve Wiggins, who's hosting it then. But Steve Johnson will be back in a couple of weeks. For now, you've had to put up with me. So apologies for that. But we'll catch you another time soon.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone.
For your Caesar, Cardiff City, ride with me for your Caesar.